Primrose. A plant of European woodlands with pale yellow flowers. Pungent. Having a sharply strong taste or smell. Putter. A golf club designed for putting. Qatari. A person from Qatar, a country in the Persian Gulf. Radioactivity. The emission of ionizing radiation or particles, caused when atomic nuclei disintegrate spontaneously. Recessive. Appearing in offspring only if a contrary gene is not also inherited. Reeve. Historical, a local official, in particular the chief magistrate of a town or district in Anglo-Saxon England. Relaunch. Launch a product plus again or in a different form. Remand. Send a defendant to wait for their trial either on bail or in jail. Replete. Replete with, filled or well supplied with. Repugnant. Unpleasant and completely unacceptable. Rote. Regular repetition of something to be learned. Rudeness. The quality of saying impolite things that offend and hurt others. Sandal. A shoe with a partly open upper or straps attaching the sole to the foot. Scat. Improvised jazz singing in which the voice is used to imitate an instrument. Scat. Informal, go away, leave. Scissor. Cut something with scissors. Seaport. A town or city with a harbor for seagoing ships. Sellout. The selling of the whole stock of something. Snot. Informal, one mucus in the nose. Spineless. Lacking courage and determination. Stairwell. A shaft in which a staircase is built. Stalwart. Loyal, reliable, and hardworking. Subtraction. The process or skill of taking one number or amount away from another. Sufi. A member of a mystic Muslim group. Sutra. A rule or saying in Sanskrit literature, or a set of these on grammar or Hindu jaw or philosophy. Tartan. A pattern of colored checks and intersecting lines, especially one associated with a particular Scottish clan. Taut. Stretched or pulled tight. Teapot. A pot with a handle, spout, and lid, in which tea is prepared. Thoroughfare. A road or path forming a route between two places. Tuner. A person who tunes musical instruments, especially pianos. Undying. Lasting forever. Unequivocal. Leaving no doubt, completely clear in meaning. Uneventful. Not marked by interesting or exciting events. Unfathomable. Too strange or difficult to be understood. Ungodly. Immoral or sinful. Unprofitable. Not making a profit. Unreported. Not reported. Unsung. Not celebrated or praised. Waterman. A person who provides transport by boat. Windscreen. Grit. Wormhole. A hole made by a burrowing insect larva or worm in wood, fruit, etc. Aggrieved. Resentful because of unfair treatment. Albatross. 41 Avery large seabird with long narrow wings, found chiefly in the southern oceans. Aquifer. A body of rock that holds water or through which water flows. Arouse. Bring about a feeling or response. Autocratic. Relating to a ruler who has total power. Bess. Picture, photo, snap, snapshot, shot, print, still, transparency. Bookseller. A person who sells books, especially as the owner or manager of a bookstore. Breakage. The action of breaking something or the fact of being broken. Carotid. Relating to the two main arteries carrying blood to the head and neck. Charade. An absurd pretense. Chinook. A member of an American Indian people originally living in Oregon. Coed. Dated a female student at a coeducational institution. Concourse. A large open area inside or in front of a public building. Confide. Tell someone about a secret or private matter in confidence. Crutch. A long stick with a crosspiece at the top, used as a support by a person who is lame. Cursive. Written with the characters joined. Cutout. A shape cut out of board or paper. Dandelion. A weed with large bright yellow flowers followed by rounded heads of seeds with downy tufts. Demonstrator. A person who takes part in a public protest meeting or march. Determinant. A factor that decisively affects the nature or outcome of something. Devonian. Geology relating to the fourth period of the Paleozoic era, about 409 to 363 million years ago, when the first amphibians appeared. Disengage. Release or detach. Dissect. Methodically cut up a body or plant in order to study its internal parts. Elliptic. Relating to or having the shape of an ellipse. Emporium. A large store selling a wide variety of goods. Endo. Internal, within. Epicenter. The point on the Earth's surface where the effects of an earthquake are felt most strongly. Epidural. An anesthetic delivered into the space around the dura mater, outermost membrane, of the spinal cord, used especially in childbirth. Epistle. Formal or humorous a letter. Erstwhile. Former. Exertion. Physical or mental effort. Expend. Spend or use up a resource. Facilitator. Someone or something that helps to produce a result, especially by directing or leading an activity. Fanfic. Short for fan fiction. Fan fiction fan fic tie-in. Ferocity. The state of being ferocious. Flagstaff. A flagpole. Fortify. Provide a place with defensive structures as protection against attack. Garret. A top floor or attic room. Gaunt. Lean and haggard, especially through suffering or age. Grapevine. A vine bearing grapes. Grotto. Grottos or grottos, a small picturesque cave, especially an artificial one in a park or garden. Groundhog. Another term for woodchuck. Ground.ing/grounding/. Heave. Lift, haul, or throw something heavy with great effort. Hellfire. The fire said to exist in hell. Hilt. The handle of a sword, dagger, or knife. Hinterland. The areas of a country away from the coast. Homely. Of a person, unattractive. Inbred. Produced by breeding from closely related people or animals. Indescribable. Too unusual, extreme, or vague to be adequately described. Inductive. Using a method of reasoning that draws general conclusions from particular facts or examples. Infighting. Conflict within a group or organization. Infra. Below. Infraction. A breaking of a law, agreement, or set of rules. Inkling. A slight suspicion, a hint. Innuendo. A remark that makes an indirect reference to something, typically something rude or unpleasant. Insecticide. A substance used for killing insects. Interfaith. Relating to or between different religions. Interrogate. Ask someone questions in a detailed or aggressive way. Introspective. Given to examining one's own thoughts or feelings. Javelin. A long, light spear thrown in a competitive sport or as a weapon. Ketamine. A medical drug used as an anesthetic and painkiller and also illegally as a hallucinogen. Knoll. A small hill or mound. Landlady. 1. A woman who rents out land or property. Larceny. Theft of personal property. Lavatory. A bathroom. Luminosity. The quality of being bright or shining. Magpie. A black and white bird with a long tail and a noisy cry. Matrimonial. Of or relating to marriage or married people. Maul. Of an animal, wound a person or other animal by scratching and tearing. Menstruation. The process in a woman of discharging blood from the lining of the uterus each month from puberty until menopause, except during pregnancy. Misgivings. Feelings of doubt or anxiety about what might happen. Misogynist. A man who hates women. Mulch. A mass of leaves, bark, or compost spread around or over a plant for protection or to enrich the soil. Musket. Historical, a light gun with a long barrel, typically fired from the shoulder. Needn't. Need not. Nether. lower in position. Nourish. Provide someone or something with the food or other substances necessary for growth and health. Oat. A cereal plant grown in cool climates. Obscenity. Obscene language or behavior. Obsess. Preoccupy someone to a troubling extent. Orator. A skillful public speaker. Papyrus. A material made in ancient Egypt from the stem of a kind of water plant, used for writing or painting on. Perpetuity. The state or quality of lasting forever. Platelet. A small disc-shaped cell fragment without a nucleus, found in large numbers in blood and involved in clotting. Pliers. Pincers with parallel flat jaws, used for gripping small objects or bending wire. Pluralism. A political system of power sharing among a number of political parties. Polynesian. A person from Polynesia, a large group of Pacific islands including New Zealand, Hawaii, and Samoa. Predation. The preying of one animal on others. Preheat. Heat something beforehand. Protectorate. A country that is controlled and protected by another. Quarterfinal. A match or round of a tournament preceding the semi-final. Recitation. The repetition of a passage aloud from memory. Rectal. Relating to the rectum. Reprimand. A formal expression of disapproval, a rebuke. Rerun. Show, stage, or perform something again. Riddance. Said to express relief at being rid of someone or something. Satchel. A shoulder bag with a long strap and typically closed by a flap. Saucy. Informal for sexually suggestive in a light-hearted way. Septum. A partition separating two cavities in the body, such as that between the nostrils. Servo. A device in a vehicle that converts a force into a larger force. Snub. Ignore or reject someone or something scornfully. Spandex. A type of stretchy synthetic fabric. Spew. Pour out or discharge rapidly and in large quantities. Sportswear. Clothes worn for sport or for casual use. Squeak. A short, high-pitched sound or cry. Steakhouse. A restaurant that specializes in serving steaks. Stratosphere. The layer of the Earth's atmosphere above the troposphere and below 1292 streak the mesosphere. Stucco. Fine plaster used for coating wall surfaces or molding into architectural decorations. Suave. Of a man, charming, confident, and elegant. Succinct. Expressed clearly and in few words. Sweetener. A substance used to sweeten food or drink. Telltale. Revealing something. Thoughtless. Not considerate toward other people. Thud. A dull, heavy sound. Tibia. The inner and typically larger of the two bones between the knee and the ankle, parallel with the fibula. Titular. Holding a formal position or title without any real authority. Torrential. Falling rapidly and heavily. Trotting. Racing for horses pulling a two-wheeled vehicle and driver. Unitarian. A member of a Christian church that believes in the unity of God and rejects the idea of the Trinity. Wail. A long high-pitched cry of pain, grief, or anger. Whitewater. A fast shallow stretch of water in a river. Xenon. An inert gaseous chemical element, present in trace amounts in the air and used in some kinds of electric light. Zo. Piezoelectric. Abnormality. A feature or event that is not normal. Acme. The point at which something is at its best or most highly developed. Addendum. An extra item added at the end of a book or other publication. Affront. An action or remark that causes offense. Afoot. And adjective one happening or in preparation. Alms. Old use money or food given to poor people. Amenable. Willing to cooperate or be persuaded to do something. Amity. Formal friendly relations between people or countries. Antibacterial. Active against bacteria. Argumentative. Apt to argue. Asymptomatic. Producing or showing no symptoms of a disease or condition. Baccalaureate. An exam that qualifies candidates for higher education. Bearable. Able to be endured. Beehive. A structure in which bees are kept. Beltway. A highway encircling an urban area. Biosphere. The parts of the Earth's surface and atmosphere that are inhabited by living things. Bodybuilder. A person who strengthens and enlarges their muscles through exercise such as weightlifting. Canny. Shrewd, especially in financial or business matters. Centimeter. A metric unit equal to 1/100th of a meter. Checkered. Having a pattern of alternating squares of different colors. Civics. The study of the rights and duties of citizenship. Clementine. A deep orangered variety of tangerine. Clipboard. A small board with a spring clip at the top, used for holding papers and providing support for writing. Confessor. A priest who hears confessions. Connoisseur. An expert in matters involving the judgment of beauty, quality, or skill. Contemplative. Showing or involving contemplation. Convocation. A large formal assembly of people. Cross. The stick used in lacrosse. Culpable. Deserving blame. Damsel. Old use or humorous, a young unmarried woman. Daze. Make someone feel stunned or bewildered. Divination. The use of supernatural means to find out about the future or the unknown. Emigrate. Leave one's own country in order to settle permanently in another. Emulsion. A liquid in which particles of one liquid are evenly dispersed in the other. Epistemology. The branch of philosophy that deals with knowledge. Fabled. Famous. Fabricate. Invent something, typically in order to deceive other people. Fijian. A person from Fiji. Filibuster. Prolonged speaking that obstructs progress in a lawmaking assembly. Finalize. Complete or decide on a final version of a plan or agreement. Gander. A male goose. Gauze. A thin transparent fabric. Ghoul. An evil spirit, especially one supposed to rob graves and feed on dead bodies. Grandstand. The main spectator area at a racetrack or sports arena. Hallucination. An experience involving a seemingly real perception of something not actually present. Hibernian. Irish. Hydrophobic. Tending to repel or fail to mix with water. Immaterial. Unimportant under the circumstances, irrelevant. Inflexible. Not able to be altered or adapted. Inflow. The movement of liquid or air into a place. Intercom. An electrical device allowing one-way or two-way communication. Knighthood. The title, rank, or status of a knight. Laborer. A person doing unskilled manual work. Mangrove. A tree or shrub found in tropical coastal swamps, with tangled roots that grow above ground. Marmalade. A preserve made from citrus fruit, especially bitter oranges. Masala. A mixture of spices ground into a paste or powder and used in Indian cooking. Miocene. Geology relating to the fourth epoch of the Tertiary period, 23.3 to 5.2 million years ago, when the first apes appeared. Modifier. A person or thing that modifies something. Oar. A pole with a flat blade, used for rowing or steering a boat. Opiate. A drug containing or related to opium. Osprey. A large fish-eating bird of prey with a brown back and white underside. Paten. Historical, a shoe with a raised sole or set on an iron ring, worn to raise the feet above wet ground. Pelt. The skin of an animal with the fur, wool, or hair still on it. Pelt. Hurl missiles at someone or something. Pennant. A long, narrow-pointed flag, especially one flown by a ship and used for signaling. Perfectionist. A person who refuses to be satisfied with something unless it is perfect. Praxis. Practice, as distinguished from theory. Princely. Relating to or suitable for a prince. Psoriasis. A skin disease marked by red, itchy, scaly patches. Putty. A paste that is easily pressed into shape and gradually hardens as it sets, used for sealing glass and window frames, filling holes in wood, etc. Quench. Satisfy thirst by drinking. Radon. A chemical element that is a rare radioactive gas. Rationalize. Try to find a logical reason for an action or attitude. Rebrand. Change the corporate image of a company or organization. Retort. A container or furnace for carrying out a chemical process on a large or industrial scale. Retort. Say something sharp or witty in answer to a remark or accusation. Rework. Change something in order to improve or update it. Sawmill. A factory in which logs are sawn. Shogun. A hereditary commander-in-chief of the army. Shout-out. Informal, a message of congratulation, support, or appreciation. Shrinkage. The process of shrinking or the amount by which something has shrunk. Skeptic. A person who questions accepted opinions. Snowstorm. A heavy fall of snow accompanied by a high wind. Socialite. A person who mixes in fashionable society. Southerly. An adverb, one facing or moving toward the south. Spectrometer. A device used for recording and measuring spectra, especially as a method of analysis. Strapping. Big and strong. Strapping. Adhesive plaster for strapping injuries. Superstructure. A structure built on top of something else. Sweeper. A person or device that cleans by sweeping. Swish. Move with a soft rushing sound. Tamper. Interfere with something without permission or so as to cause damage. Tampon. A plug of soft material put into the vagina to absorb blood during a woman's period. Telephony. The working or use of telephones. Toffee. A kind of firm candy that softens when sucked or chewed, made by boiling together sugar and butter. Tomahawk. A light axe formerly used as a tool or weapon by American Indians. Transgression. The action or an act of transgressing. Trappings. The signs or objects associated with a particular situation or role. Triage. The assessment of the seriousness of wounds or illnesses to decide the order in which a large number of patients should be treated. Ulterior. Other than what is obvious or has been admitted. Unambiguous. Not open to more than one interpretation, clear in meaning. Undetermined. Not firmly decided or settled. Undies. Informal articles of underwear. Unfettered. Unrestrained or uninhibited. Venison. Meat from a deer. Zine. A silvery white metallic chemical element that is used in making brass and for coating iron and steel as a protection against corrosion. Afterthought. Something thought of or added later. Airbag. A safety device that inflates rapidly when there is a sudden impact, so protecting a vehicle's occupants in a collision. Airman. A pilot or crew member in a military aircraft. Airship. A power-driven aircraft kept aloft by a body of gas, usually helium, that is lighter than air. Annihilate. Destroy completely. Artful. Clever, especially in a cunning way. Asymmetry. Lack of symmetry between the sides or parts of something. Asynchronous. Not existing or occurring at the same time. Banal. Very ordinary and unoriginal. Bombardier. A rank of non-commissioned officer in certain Canadian and British artillery regiments, equivalent to corporal. Bountiful. Large in quantity, abundant. Bulldozer. A tractor with a broad curved blade at the front for clearing ground. Calico. Printed cotton fabric. Capillary. Any of the fine branching blood vessels that form a network between the arteries and veins. Casanova. A man notorious for seducing women. Categorical. Completely clear and direct. Checkup. A thorough examination to detect any problems, especially medical or mechanical ones. Chieftain. The leader of a people or clan. Cirrhosis. A chronic liver disease typically caused by alcoholism or hepatitis. Cladding. A covering or coating on a structure or material. Clingy. Of a garment, clinging to the body. Codeine. A pain-killing drug obtained from morphine. Colitis. Inflammation of the lining of the colon. Combative. Ready or eager to fight or argue. Conceited. Excessively proud of oneself. Counterattack. An attack made in response to one by an opponent. Curie. A unit of radioactivity, corresponding to 3.7 x 10 degree disintegrations per second. Darken. Make or become darker. Defuse. Make a situation less tense or difficult. Dishonor. Shame or disgrace. Disintegrate. Break up into small parts as a result of impact or decay. Disjointed. Not coherent or connected. Divest. Divest someone/thing of, deprive someone or something of. Dodo. A large extinct flightless bird formerly found on Mauritius. Draconian. Extremely harsh or severe. Emotive. Arousing intense feeling. Entanglement. A complicated or compromising relationship or situation. Firefight. Military, a battle using guns rather than bombs or other weapons. Firstborn. The first child to be born to someone. Flowery. Full of, decorated with, or resembling flowers. Frock. Chiefly breed a dress. Glutamate. Biochemistry: a salt or ester of an amino acid that is a constituent of many proteins. Goblet. A drinking glass with a foot and astem. Gyro. A sandwich made with slices of spiced meat cooked on a spit, served with salad and pita bread. Hapless. Unlucky, unfortunate. Iconography. The use or study of images or symbols in visual arts. Impervious. Not allowing fluid to pass through. Implausible. Not seeming reasonable or probable. Indeterminate. Not exactly known, established, or defined. Inflection. Grammar: a change in the form of a word, typically the ending, to show a grammatical function or quality such as tense, mood, person, number, case, and gender. Intractable. Hard to solve or deal with. Kickboxing. A form of martial art that combines boxing with elements of karate, in particular kicking with bare feet. Kilt. A knee-length skirt of pleated tartan cloth, traditionally worn by men as part of Scottish Highland dress. Lifesaver. Informal: a thing that saves someone from serious difficulty. Litany. A series of prayers in church services, usually recited by the clergy and responded to by the people. Locket. A small ornamental case worn on a chain around a person's neck, used to hold an item of sentimental value such as a tiny photograph or a lock of hair. Locomotion. Movement or the ability to move from one place to another. Mailman. A person who is employed to deliver and collect letters and packages. Marksman. A person skilled in shooting. Maven. Informal: an expert or connoisseur. Nappy. Informal, often offensive, of hair, frizzy. Neuter. Grammar: of a noun, not masculine or feminine. Opinionated. Tending to state one's views forcefully and to be unwilling to change them. Oppress. Treat or govern someone in a very harsh and unfair way. Panhandle. A narrow strip of territory projecting from the main territory of one state into another. Parched. Extremely dry. Passageway. A corridor or other narrow passage between buildings or rooms. Pasty. Of a person's skin, unhealthily pale. Pâté. Old use or humorous: a person's head. Pertain. Pertain to, be relevant or appropriate to. Pesto. A sauce of crushed basil leaves, pine nuts, garlic, Parmesan cheese, and olive oil, served with pasta. Polity. A particular form of government. Pooped. Informal: exhausted. Porcupine. A large rodent with protective spines or quills on the body and tail. Primacy. The fact of being primary or most important. Psychosocial. Relating to the way in which social factors and individual thought and behavior are connected or linked. Reagent. A substance or mixture used to cause a chemical reaction, used especially to test for the presence of another substance. Rectory. A rector's house. Refractive. Relating to or involving refraction. Refractory. Formal, stubborn, or difficult to control. Reprieve. Cancel the punishment of someone. Resupply. Provide with or obtain a fresh supply. Riser. A person who usually gets out of bed at a particular time of the morning. Ruckus. An argument or commotion. Salami. A type of spicy preserved sausage. Screech. Make a loud, harsh cry. Shaven. Shaved. Shopkeeper. The owner and manager of a store. Shrill. Of a voice or sound, high-pitched and piercing. Soulless. Lacking character and individuality. Stagecoach. A closed horse-drawn vehicle formerly used to carry passengers and often mail along a regular route. Stork. A tall, long-legged bird with a long, heavy bill and white and black plumage. Strongman. A very strong man, especially one who performs feats of strength for entertainment. Subside. Become less intense, violent, or severe. Tartar. Historical, a member of a group of Central Asian peoples who conquered much of Asia and Eastern Europe in the early 13th century. Telepathy. The supposed communication of thoughts or ideas without using speech, writing, or any other normal method. Thane. An Anglo-Saxon or medieval Scottish landowner or nobleman. Thesaurus. A book containing lists of words that have the same, similar, or related meaning. Thorax. The part of the body between the neck and the abdomen. Tithe. 1/10 of the amount people produced or earned in a year, formerly taken as a tax to support the church. Unattainable. Not able to be reached or achieved. Unexplored. Not explored, investigated, or evaluated. Unsold. Not sold. Unsubstantiated. Not supported or proven by evidence. Uptight. Informal, one nervously tense or angry. Veda. The earliest Hindu sacred writings. Virulent. Of a disease or poison, having a very severe or harmful effect. Waterfowl. Ducks, geese, or other large water birds. Widescreen. A movie or television screen presenting a wide field of vision in relation to height. Womanhood. The state or period of being a woman. Worrisome. Causing anxiety or concern. Wort. A sweet solution made from soaking ground malt or other grain before fermentation, used to produce beer. Admissible. Acceptable or valid. Airlift. An act of transporting supplies by aircraft, typically in an emergency. Alluvial. Made of clay, silt, and sand that is left by floodwater. Apical. Technical, relating to or forming an apex. Ascendant. Rising in power or status. Bimbo. Informal, derogatory and attractive but unintelligent young woman. Bongo. Each of a pair of small drums, held between the knees and played with the fingers. Bootstrap. A loop at the back of a boot, used to pull it on. Brisket. Meat from the breast of a cow. Buckeye. A North American tree or shrub related to the horse chestnut, with showy yellow, red, or white flowers. Cairn. A mound of rough stones built as a memorial or landmark. Callan. A radio or television program during which listeners or viewers can make comments or ask questions by telephoning the studio. Cannonball. A metal or stone ball fired from a cannon. Cappuccino. Coffee made with milk that has been frothed up with pressurized steam. Citrate. A salt or ester of citric acid. Climactic. Forming an exciting climax. Conjuring. A form of entertainment involving apparently magical tricks, typically ones that seem to make objects appear or disappear. Cowgirl. A girl or woman on horseback who herds cattle in the western U.S. Cowl. A large loose hood forming part of a monk's habit. Cypriot. A person from Cyprus. Decorum. Polite and socially acceptable behavior. Deft. Quick and neatly skillful. Detest. Able or intended to deter. Detest. Dislike someone or something intensely. Disband. Stop or cause to stop operating as an organized group. Emblematic. Representing a particular quality or idea. Entrust. Entrust someone with, give a responsibility to someone. Enviable. Arousing or likely to arouse envy, desirable. Epithet. A word or phrase expressing a characteristic quality of the person or thing mentioned. Firehouse. A fire station. Flaky. Breaking or separating easily into flakes. Flotilla. A small fleet of ships or boats. Follow-up. An activity carried out to monitor or further develop earlier work. Foolproof. Incapable of going wrong or being misused. Forgetful. Apt or likely not to remember. Forklift. A vehicle with a pronged device in front for lifting and carrying heavy loads. Gallantry. Courageous behavior. Gamut. The complete range or scope of something. Gash. A long, deep cut or wound. Gazelle. A small antelope with curved 540G horns and white underparts. Genotype. The genetic makeup of an individual animal, plant, or other life form. Glycol. Short for ethylene glycol. Gopher. Also pocket gopher, a burrowing American rodent with pouches on its cheeks.